Hello, friends. Steve Stockton here with you. Today, we're going to be talking about a strange new disappearance on California's Mount Shasta. Join me. Let's take a walk and see. Now, in the vast and often unforgiving wilderness in Northern California, the disappearance of a young man has sparked a mystery that has baffled law enforcement, seasoned search and rescue teams, and the community at large. The case of 21-year-old Lesner Noe Velasquez Cardenas, who vanished without a trace on May 29, 2025, is a labyrinth of contradictions, strange coincidences, and unanswered questions. His story, as detailed in a recent SF Gate article and other places, is not just a tale of a missing person, but a complex narrative that weaves together a car crash, a mysterious taxi ride, a pair of misplaced earrings, and the ever-present shadow of immigration fears. It is a case that has been described as very unusual by those who spent their lives navigating the treacherous terrain of both the human psyche and the rugged slopes of Mount Shasta. Now, the timeline of Cardenas' disappearance begins on a Thursday morning with a single-car accident on Oak Run Road, a remote stretch of pavement outside of Redding, California. Cardenas, who had only recently obtained his driver's license, reportedly flipped his vehicle. According to the Redding PD, he placed a call to the California Highway Patrol, but by the time the CHP officers arrived at the scene, he was gone. This initial act of leaving the scene of an accident, which might seem suspicious to some, is interpreted differently by those who knew him best. Brian Kinsey, the father of Cardenas' best friend Hunter, describes the young man as having a, quote, 14-year-old mind, end quote, in a 21-year-old's body. He was, in Kinsey's words, extremely innocent and naive to the extreme. It was this naivete, Kinsey believes, that may have led Cardenas to panic, fearing consequences that were far more severe than the reality of the situation. A local woman who gave Cardenas a ride back to his Redding apartment after the crash later told Kinsey that he seemed fine, showing no concern, no issue, and had no visible injuries. Upon returning to his apartment, Cardenas changed his clothes, a fact deduced by his best friend Hunter, who later entered the apartment and found the discarded garments. It was at this point that Cardenas likely grabbed his backpack and hiking boots. A peculiar and thus far unexplained detail emerged from this change of clothes. A pair of quote-unquote girl earrings were found in the pocket of his discarded pants. Now, these earrings did not belong to any of the three young women Cardenas was living with, nor to any other woman known to be in his life. This small, seemingly insignificant detail adds another layer of intrigue to an already perplexing case. The possibility of a cognitive impairment resulting from the car crash is a concern for investigators. Sergeant Josiah Farron of the Redding Police Department expressed this worry, stating, quote, "There's just a level of concern. Could he have had a traumatic brain injury and now he's on a rugged mountain somewhere, maybe not in the best state or condition?" End quote. The next known event in Cardenas' timeline is a taxi ride. At precisely 2:22 p.m., he was picked up by a cab near Wells Fargo on Redding's East Cypress Avenue. He was carrying backpacking gear and told the driver that he was, quote, trying to beat a friend's time to complete a hike, end quote. The taxi driver dropped him off at McBride Springs, a popular campground located at an elevation of approximately 5,000 feet on Mount Shasta. While McBride Springs is a known entry point to the mountain, it is not a typical starting point for those attempting to climb Mount Shasta via the popular Avalanche Gulch route. Nick Myers, the lead climbing ranger and director of the Mount Shasta Avalanche Center, who has over 2 decades of experience on the mountain, notes that while it is possible to access the main climbing routes from McBride Springs, it adds an extra 3 miles to the journey and nobody really climbs it that way, he says. Now, the mystery deepens once again when one considers Cardenas' connection, or lack thereof, to the mountain. According to Kinsey, none of Cardenas' friends were hikers or climbers, and he had no known personal connection to Mount Shasta. The statement to the taxi driver about beating a friend's hiking time appears to be a fabrication on Cardenas' part. a puzzling lie in a string of strange decisions. The financial aspect of this journey also raises many questions. The 2 hour cab ride to the mountain from Redding would have been a significant expense, yet Cardenas' wallet and cash were later found at Kinsey's home. The only personal item missing was his passport. How he paid for the taxi ride remains an enigma. Now, since the taxi dropped him off at the trailhead, there has been a complete and unnerving silence. No one has seen or heard from Lesner Cardenas. He has not contacted his roommates, his best friend, or his mother, who is battling stage 4 cancer. We truly have had nothing since he dropped off the mountain, Sergeant Farron stated. A strange inconsistency in the timeline, discovered by his best friend Hunter, further complicates the narrative. On the day of his disappearance, Hunter logged into his laptop and used the Find My iPhone app, which showed Cardenas' phone pinging near the base of Mount Shasta at 2:06 p.m. This was a full 16 minutes before police say he got into the taxi in Redding. This chronological discrepancy has yet to be explained. Now, one of the most prominent theories that Brian Kinsey continues to grapple with is the possibility that Cardenas, who was originally from Honduras, has gone into hiding out of fear of immigration enforcement. Although he had a passport, a driver's license, and a school visa from his time as a wrestler at Simpson University, the mere mention of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, would trigger a palpable fear in him. That's not even funny. That's not funny. Don't even play like that, Cardenas would say. Kinsey believes that this deep-seated fear may have been the catalyst for his flight after the car crash, a desperate attempt to vanish into the backcountry. Quote, if he was hiding, he's going to go up there and be off trail hiding, Kinsey speculates. Now, SF Gates' attempts to confirm with ICE whether Cardenas had been detained in any recent enforcement actions were met with no response by the time this video was being recorded. Now, from the perspective of those who know the mountain best, Cardenas' disappearance is an anomaly. Nick Myers, who has overseen countless search and rescue operations on Mount Shasta, explains that the circumstances of this case do not align with your typical scenarios. He says, you can find your way out even if it takes a little bit extra time or a day or two, end quote, he explained. The weather conditions on the mountain at the time of his disappearance were favorable. It's been clear. It's been nice weather, mild nights. The weather really hasn't been too much of an issue, Myers continued. Now, what is most unsettling for the veteran ranger is the complete lack of any evidence. No discarded gear, no footprints, no clues of any kind have been found. In a typical search and rescue operation, some trace of the missing person is usually discovered. In this case, though, there is nothing. Ranger Myers' rather grim assessment is that, quote, he's either, deceased somewhere or doesn't want to be found, end quote. For the family and friends of Lesner Cardenas, the past few weeks have been a living nightmare. The emotional toll is immense. We're losing sleep and we're sick to our stomach, said Brian Kinsey, who has taken on a central role in the search for his son's best friend. Cardenas is described by those who know him as one of the good guys. He was a young man with a bright future, a graduate of the Cal Fire Academy who had trained as an EMT at Shasta College. His dream was to become a first responder, a testament to his desire to help others. A former wrestler, he was strong, in good physical shape, and had so much to look forward to. Now, that future hangs in the balance, lost somewhere in the wilderness of Mount Shasta or in the shadows of an unknown fear. The disappearance of Lesner Noe Velasquez Cardenas is a story that defies easy explanation. It's a puzzle with just too many missing pieces. A young man with a promising future, a minor car accident, a mysterious taxi ride, a fabricated story, a missing passport, a pair of unexplained earrings, and a timeline that doesn't quite add up. All of these elements converge on the slope of a majestic and unforgiving mountain, a silent witness to a story that may never be fully told. This case is a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring pain of not knowing. For the loved ones of Lesner Cardenas, the search continues, fueled by desperate hope that one day the mystery will be solved and he'll be brought home. Until then, the question of what happened to the young man with the 14-year-old mind and so much to look forward to will continue to echo through the canyons and peaks of Mount Shasta. A weird, very weird case that has left even the most experienced experts shaking their heads in disbelief. The disappearance of Lesner Cardenas is a haunting tale of a young man who vanished into the wilderness without a trace, leaving behind a void of information and a world of unanswered questions. The community, the authorities, and his loved ones are left to wonder, was he a victim of the mountain, a victim of his own fears, or something else entirely? The silence from the mountain is deafening, and the mystery of Lesner Cardenas endures. On a Tuesday, June 10th update, the Redding PD said that they had searched Mount Shasta on June 6th and 7th and added that CHP Northern Division Air Operations assisted in the search with aircraft resources. However, those efforts were fruitless in finding any trace of Cardenas. If you have any information regarding the whereabouts of Lesner Cardenas, you're encouraged to call the police at 530-225-4200. Well, friends, there you have it. What do you think of this latest strange disappearance on California's Mount Shasta? As always, I look forward to your comments, but please keep it friendly and respectful. Until we meet again, be good to yourselves and each other. Stay safe out there. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'll see you a little further on down the trail. And please, tell your animals I said hi.